Hi guys, welcome back to Unacademy Neat English channel and my name is Tina. I am your biology educator and guys in this session we are going to discuss the 5 plant families which NTA has mentioned in the syllabus but NCERT forgot to mention it in the book. So in this session we are going to make all these plant families super easy. I know NEET is around the corner and this topic doesn't hold a lot of importance. There are not many questions being asked but we can never take a risk. After all this, NTA has given us a clear indication that it's going to be very ferocious in the coming year, in this year, NEET 2026. So let's get NEET ready with all these plant families. So in this session, we are going to discuss these 5 families: Compositae, Fabaceae, Brassicaceae, Asteraceae, and Poaceae. And now the trick is we are going to make all these family easy by just learning these 5 floral formulae. Now, these floral formulae are going to give you all explanations, and the leftover things will be understood by the help of floral diagrams. So, before we come on to these floral diagrams and floral formulae, guys, let's quickly recap all the symbols that are going to be used during the formulae. So, we know that this sign indicates the zygomorphic symmetry, that means also known as bilateral. Then this is the actinomorphic, which is radial. That means the plant or the flower can be divided into 2 equal halves in any plane. Then there is ebractigate condition, means bract is not present. And then there is a bractigate condition in which the bract is present at the base of the pedicel. At the base of the pedicel, this is the bract. Then if this sign indicates that the flower is male flower, it only has stamens, no pistil, while this indicates the femaleness of the flower, that means it doesn't have stamens. While if it has both stamens and pistil, it is called a bisexual flower. While we also see that in some flowers there's an extra layer, extra whorl, which is called epicalyx, which is present just below the calyx, that is sepals. Now, talking about the calyx, guys, calyx is a group of sepals, and we denote it by K. And now the number of sepals is written at the as a subscript. So if there are 5 sepals, it will be written as K5. Now, if 5 is surrounded by bracts, it means the sepals are fused. So bracts indicate the fusion here. Similarly, for petals, polypetalous means free petals, while bract indicates the gamopetalous or the fused condition of the petals. Now, talking about the stamens or the indrusium, so the number of indrusium is written as a subscript under A. So A indicates the indrusium. Now, if there are 10 stamens but all of them are free, we'll call it polyandrous condition, right? Poly word is for free. Then if there are 10 but they're all together, they are joined together to form one cylindrical bundle, then there will be a bracket around the 10, and this is known as monoadelphous. Now, monoadelphous, guys, is a typical condition found in Malvaceae. The family Malvaceae, Mono Malvaceae, MM. Remember that. Now, if there are 10 stamens but they are distributed into 2 different groups, we'll call it diadelphous. For example, it could be 5 plus 5, or it could be 9 constitute one cylinder. So 9 and putting bracts around that, and plus 1, diadelphous. Now, this condition will be seen in case of Fabaceae, that is your pea and beans and so on. Now, in case the flower doesn't have very distinct calyx and corolla, we call it perianth, and the single unit of perianth is known as tepal. So we indicate it by P, and you write the number of tepals beneath the P. Now, talking about this very typical condition, that is vexillary estivation, that is C1 plus 2 plus 2. So this condition is typical of vexillary estivation. You will see this in Fabaceae. So there are 5 petals, but the 5 petals are arranged in 3 different ways. We'll be studying more about it. Now, talking more about androecium, if the stamens are fused with, if they show adhesion with the petals, then we call it epipetalous condition. While if the petals, androecium is showing adhesion with the perianth, we call it epiphyllous condition. Right now, then talking about the carpel or the gynoecium indicated by G. G1 means there is one carpel and one has to be free. Of course, it is apocarpus. Apo word is for free carpel. Now, if there are G2, so we'll write it as bicarpellary, and again two carpels are free, so bicarpellary and apocarpus condition. But if I put a bract around 2, then it means bicarpellary and syncarpus. The 2 carpels are fused with each other. Is it clear? Now, apart from that, you will see a bar below the G or bar above G. So if there is a bar below G, it means it is a superior ovary. So you have to remember it opposite way. Bar below means the ovary is superior, while if the bar is above G, it means it's a inferior ovary. Now there is another very typical condition that you will observe, that is A2 plus 4. Now it means there are six stamens, but what do you mean by 2 plus 4? 2 plus 4 situation means tetradynamous condition. So what is tetradynamous condition? In tetradynamous condition, guys, there are two long and there are four short filaments. So two long stamens and four short stamens are indicated by 2 plus 4 condition. I hope this much is clear. Now, what else are we going to study in the floral diagram? We will be able to observe the estivation, that is arrangement of the units in sepals, the unit of sepals or petals within the same whorl. How are they arranged? So we have in all four types of estivation, which we have already read about in morphology. So vexillary condition. See, vexillary condition has a typical of five carpels. Sorry, typical of five calyx, five petals. So in this, the outer one, this one is known as the standard, while these two are known as laterals, and this one is known as keel. Now standard is one in number, so we'll not put a bracket because it's one, and of course it can't be fused. Laterals are two, and again they are free, while keys also consist of two petals, but now these are fused. Now this vexillary, also known as papilionaceous estivation, is a characteristic feature of Fabiaceae. Twisted, there is one margin inside on the one margin while the other margin is on the outer side, and this follows the pattern characteristic of Malvaceae. While marginal is sorry, not marginal. We have valvate. This is not marginal. Sorry, this is valvate condition. Now, valvate estivation is present in your Malvaceae family also. So in Malvaceae, you will see both twisted as well as valvate. Now it's not a typical of that. Now in valvate, the whorls the sepals or the petals in the whorl, they are arranged margin to margin, not touching each other and not overlapping. There is no overlapping in valvate. Then we have imbricate. In imbricate, there is no fixed pattern followed. Now coming on to the five families. Now we will be understanding these families, the basic vegetative characters, few examples, the type of inflorescence, and most important of all, you have to memorize their floral formulae. If nothing else, you just revise the floral formulae, remember the floral formulae, and your work is half done. So first of all, starting with the Compositae family, the Asteraceae family. Now, this family is also known as the sunflower family. So, apart from sunflower, we have marigold, dandelion, chrysanthemums, all these winter flowers, beautiful flowers, they come under this family. Now, talking about the stem is erect. Now, it is a dicot. Apart from Poaceae family, all the other families in our syllabus are dicot families. So, apart from Poaceae, remember it for everyone. All the other four families, that root will be tap root system. Now, leaves in this have alternate phyllotaxy, but sometimes they may have opposite or whorled, while the leaves show simple or compound leaves. Now, the very characteristic feature is that in sunflower or sunflower family, basically, the type of inflorescence is known as capitulum. Now, the flower that you see here in the picture, this is not one flower. This is not one flower. It is basically a group of florets. It is a group of florets. Now, the florets which are present on the outer side are known as ray florets, while those in this disc, in this dark colored disc, these are known as the disc floret. So such inflorescence is known as, so there is a disc over which small florets are present, which are of two types. Outer ones will be known as the ray florets and the inner ones are known as the disc florets. I hope this much is clear. Now both ray floret and disc floret have different type of arrangement, different type of structures. Now coming directly onto the formula. See, ray florets, which are the outer ones. Now, these ray florets have a bract. They show zygomorphic symmetry. They are female flowers. They are female flowers. They are pistillate flowers. They don't have the male part. You see this? See it here? There are no stamens shown here. No stamens shown here. No androecium. So, ray florets are strictly pistillate flowers or the female flowers. Now, the calyx here, is hair-like, and for hair-like calyx we use the term pappus. They can be 2 to 3 in number. Talking about the petals, which is the corolla, they can also vary from 3 to 5 in number. And in both, see, we have put brackets, so both show gamo condition, so gamosepalous and gamopetalous. Now, as said, ray florets are strictly female flowers, so androecium 0 and gynoecium. There are two gynoecium, two carpels, two ovaries here, and they are fused. Now, the bar above G indicates that it is an inferior ovary. So, you might be given a formula. You may be given a formula, and you can be asked questions. What can you conclude from the given formula or the given diagram, floral diagram? So, you should be able to read them properly. So, from this one aspect, G with a bar above, 2 and 2 in the bracts, what all things can you deduce? You can deduce that first of all it is an inferior ovary, second it is a bicarpellary condition, and third you can conclude that it is a syncarpous condition. So the two carpels are fused. I hope this is clear. For the disc floret, you have to remember this is also bracteate, but this ray floret showed zygomorphic symmetry, while this one is showing actinomorphic symmetry. So you can clearly see the difference. Now, ray floret was strictly a pistillate flower, while a disc floret is a bisexual flower. So you again see the petals, sorry, the sepals, they are 2 to 3 in number, again hair like, and then corolla. Now they can be 5 in number, and again gamopetalous condition. Now in this disc floret, androecium is present, ranging between 5, and androecium is showing adhesion. It is bind, it is attached to the petals. So this is known as the epipetalous condition. So it indicates the epipetalous condition. Can you note how epipetalous condition is shown in the floral diagram? We know there is a cap which is connecting C and A in the floral diagram, but see how epipetalous condition is indicated in the formula. Now again, the talking about the gynoecium, it is a similar condition. It has inferior ovary, bicarpellary condition, and the bract shows that it is syncarpous. So guys, now moving on to the second family, which is Malvaceae family. So Malvaceae includes your hibiscus, that is China rose or shoe flower, Gossypium, that is cotton, or Ebelmoschus esculentus, which is bindi or okra, and Malva or mellow fruit. So all these come under Malvaceae. So we call it a cotton family or a hibiscus family. You can see the flowers here. Now the stem is erect, cylindrical, but there is a characteristic mucilaginous canals or cavities present. So there's that mucilaginous secretion from these flowers. The leaves show alternate phyllotaxy. Venation, being a dicot, is reticulate. Now the leaves, they show these serrations. These serrated margins are present in the leaves. I hope you can see this in the picture. So there are teeth-like or serrated margins present in the leaves. The root is again taproot system, because this is also one of the dicots. Now moving on to the floral formula. See, it has actinomorphic, that is radial kind of symmetry. You can divide it into equal halves along any plane. It is again a typical bisexual flower. Now, before calyx, there is a special extra wall which is known as epicalyx. Now, epicalyx the number of epicalyx can range between 3 to 8. Is this clear? Then you see gamosepalous condition. So sepals are 5 in number. They're 5 in number, pentamerous condition, right? And they are fused. So that is gamosepalous condition. Then again, the petals, the corolla, it indicates gamopetalous condition, 5 in number. Talking about the androecium. Now, androecium can be infinite. So, it's more than 10. We simply write infinity. And all of them will fuse to form one cylindrical bundle. What are we going to call it as? Monoadelphous condition. See, this is what is being shown here in the diagram. This is the monoadelphous condition. So, monoadelphous condition is a characteristic of Malvaceae family. And do you see the stigma? The stigma here is split into 5. It is a pentaphed stigma, right? The gynoecium here is superior. So what do we indicate? What can we conclude from this formula? That the carpel gynoecium is superior. 2 to infinity, 2 to more. It can be bicarpellary, or if it is more than 2, we'll simply write polycarpellary condition, but there's a bract around it, so it means it is again fused, so syncarpous condition. I hope these things are clear. Let's see the floral diagram also. Now we can easily see from this diagram that apicalyx, they are free, but they are not fused with each other. So it shows valvate condition. And margin to margin, not fused with each other, it shows valvate condition. Then you also see the calyx, they're five in number, and this hook indicates the fusion. So gamosepalous, and again margin to margin, it is valvate. You see twisted estivation in case of corolla. Now corolla again five in number, again it shows gamopetalous condition, but this time it is twisted estivation. So in Malvaceae, you see valvate estivation in sepals and you see twisted estivation in petals. And then you see there are so many androecium drawn on one ring, which indicates that they are all fused to form one cylinder. Now the number of ovary can vary between, the carpel can vary between 2 to infinity, and they are all fused together. I hope this point is clear to all. And with this, we move on to the third family, which is Fabaceae. Just clearly remember, Fabaceae is the pea family. All the peas and beans, different types of beans, they come under Fabaceae. Other than these, there are some ornamental plants like Aprajita. You don't have to remember everything. Then sweet pea, right? All the peas, sweet pea, Japanese pagoda tree. Then are all the pulses. See, it is a pea, beans, and pulses. Pulses, all these, just remember the broad things. Okay, just remember the examples very broadly. All the peas, all the beans, all the pulses, they come under Fabaceae family or Leguminosae. French bean, mutton, garden pea, soya bean, chana, all the dals and pulses are in this family. Now again, it is a dicot. So being a dicot, it has typical taproot system, but other than taproot, it has, in addition to that, so the roots have special swollen structures known as nodules. They have nodules, and we know that in these nodules lives rhizobium, which helps in nitrogen fixation. Rhizobium bacteria, symbiote bacteria, which fixes nitrogen. I hope these points are clear. Then stem is erect or it can be climber. But if we talk about these peas and beans, they are climbers. They are climbers, right? And also to remember, this is clearly written, pea and beans, they have not stem tendrils, rather they have leaf tendrils. So P and P for patta. This is how I remember. So in Hindi we call leaf as patta. So P for P and P for patta, they have leaf tendrils. This is an important question. So also try to find out and let me know in the comment section which plants have tendrils. Anyways, let's continue with Fabaceae. The leaves of the Fabaceae show pinnately compound as simple leaves with alternate phyllotaxy, while the leaf base is swollen. Now the swollen leaf base, see, this is the stem and this is the base, and this is how it is attached. Now this swollen base is known as pulvinus. It is found only here in the Fabaceae family. Out of all the five families, you will only talk about pulvinus in Fabaceae. Again, being a dicot, it has reticulate venation. Now the type of inflorescence here is racemose. It is racemose. That means the tip will continue to grow and the new leaves will be found on the top and the older ones are towards the bottom. Is that clear? Similarly for the flowers as well. Now moving on to the floral formula here. See, it has zygomorphic symmetry. Now bisexual flower, gamosepalous condition, and how many sepals? Five. They are fused. Now, typical and characteristic feature of Fabaceae family is that the petals show maxillary estivation. What is maxillary estivation? See, it has one standard, the largest one, and then there are two laterals smaller than that, and then there are the smallest petals which are known as key, and these are fused. These are fused. So this is how we write maxillary estivation. The moment you see this combination C is 1 plus 2 plus 2 fused, just write down Fabaceae. Is that clear? It is the vexillary or papilionaceous estivation. You will not see this estivation in any of the other families in your syllabus, right? Then another typical thing, androecium shows diadelphous condition, means that 10 stamens will be found the 10 stamens are arranged in two whorls, 9 together and 1 separate. Is it clear? Now see how is it drawn in case of your floral diagram also. So there is one circle, and on this one, not circle, on this one curve are drawn all the androecium. Is that clear? And then one, and so nine are drawn on this circle while one is drawn separately. So this shows diadelphous condition. While the ovary here is superior, there is single ovary, and that too, of course, single has to be free. It is apocarpous condition. Now, from the floral diagram, guys, we can see that the outermost wall, which is the sepal, that is a calyx, it joins to each other, margin to margin. So this is valvate condition, but they are fused. Can you see the margins are joined, fused with each other? So you should be able to conclude things from the floral diagram as well as the floral formula. But the first thing is you must learn the floral formulae. 5 floral formulae and your families are done. Is it clear? So with this, we move on to the fourth family, which is the mustard family, the Brassicaceae family or the crucifery family. Now, this Brassicaceae family can be easily identified. The members of the Brassicaceae family, they have very pungent smell. You know, when you're cooking mustard, when you're cooking you're eating radish, or somebody else has eaten radish, you're eating cauliflower, broccoli, all these things, they have a pungent smell because of the presence of sulfur producing glands in them, right? So this is the clear indication they belong to mustard family. So somebody is cooking saag or somebody is cooking mustard, right? Rye, and so it gets easily known, right? It is easily noticeable because of the sulfur production. Now, talking about the leaves, they are simple, they are alternate, and they are pinnate. They show pinnately compound leaves. Then stem is herbaceous. It is rarely woody. It is rarely woody. Just think of cabbage, just think of cauliflower, broccoli, radish, all come under these. They are herbaceous, right? Then, talking about root, again, it's a dicot family, so it is taproot. But if you talk about radish here or carrot is not here, but radish, yes. Radish, it is storing food. That is why it is edible, right? So, food storage, radish, turnips, right? All of these have pungent characteristics that smell. They are involved in food storage. Are these points clear? Talking about the inflorescence, they have spike or they have spikelets. They have blooms covering the spikelets, and then the perianth is 2 to 3 reduced. Now, directly coming on to the formula. So, it shows actinomorphy, that is radial symmetry, bisexual flowers. Now, this is a typical K2 plus 2. So there is no branch and it is 2 plus 2. So overall there are 4 sepals. But 2 plus 2 condition means that 4 sepals, they are arranged in 2 different whorls. And of course, since they are free, we'll call it polysepalous condition. So this is a typical of this mustard family, K2 plus 2, right? Then petals, again 4 in number, polypetalous, they are free. And then androecium, 2 plus 4. 2 plus 4, I just told you 2 plus 4 is a tetradynamous condition. And this is again typical of mustard family where 2 are short filaments and 4 are long filaments. And you easily understand what does G with a bar below and 2 with bracts around indicate. It is inferior ovary. It is a superior ovary. Then with bicarpellary condition and syncarpous condition. So superior ovary, not inferior, superior ovary with bicarpellary, 2 carpels and fused with each other, syncarpous condition. I hope these points are clear to all, and see the floral diagram here. So calyx 2 plus 2. Okay. So they are 2 plus 2 indicates that they are present in 2 whorls. Talking about the corolla here, valvate condition. Do you see it? And they are not fused. Then androecium 2 plus 2. So do you see that 2 androecium are on the outer wall and these are the short ones, while the 4 drawn on the inner circle, these are the longer ones. And then there are 2 carpels clearly visible within a common circle, which means it is a syncarpous condition. Moving on to now, first of all, this is the 5th family we are going to discuss, and this is the only monocot family in your syllabus. Now, being monocot, the roots are of fibrous type. The stem is known as culm. Now, what is culm? Culm is such a stem. See, think of bamboo. Bamboo comes under this. This is a grass family. All the sugarcane, grasses, wheat, all the cereals, they come under Poaceae family, also known as Graminy. Now, please don't confuse it Graminy with gram. Gram is a pulse, and gram comes under pulses, and pulses are in family Fabaceae. Now, Graminy is grass family or Poaceae, right? Now see, if you think of bamboo, what kind of stem it is? Bamboo is hollow in the internodal area, but the nodes are solid. But the nodes are solid. Now such stem is known as culm. Is that clear? Now leaves, because it is a monocot, now the leaf will be covered with a leaf base. Sorry, the stem will be covered with the leaf base, which is known as leaf sheath. Now, being a monocot, it has parallel venation. These are sessile. There is no petiole present and alternate. Is that clear? Now, there are certain structures known as ligules present. These are hairy structures present at the junction of sheath and the leaf blade. That is where the main lamina and the sheath is present. There is present a small hairy structure known as ligule. Now, the type of inflorescence present in Poaceae, guys, is spike of spikelets. Spike of spikelets. Now, in this Poaceae also, just like in Capitulum, like that is in sunflower family, Asteraceae or Compositae, we don't have one flower. There are multiple flowers in that one flower, right? In that, it's not a flower, it's an inflorescence. So similarly here also we have a concept of florets. We have a concept of florets. Is that clear? Now do you see the stamen here? You see the ovary. Now there is in now the stamen, sorry, sepals and petals are indistinct. Calyx and corolla are not distinct, so we call it a perianth. But when perianth is reduced, we call such perianth as lodicule. So I hope you understand the difference. First of all, it doesn't have distinct sepal and petal, so we call it perianth. And now here the perianth is also in not well developed. It is reduced. So such perianth is known as lodicule. It is known as lodicule. Is that clear? Now this whole structure is surrounded by some protective coverings. We have palea and lemma. Now all these structures, in the whole structure enclosed within palea and lemma, this is known as a floret. This is known as a floret. I hope these points are clear. Now, what are the different plants included in Poaceae? We have all the cereals: rice, wheat, maize, Bermuda, bamboo, sugarcane, all the grasses. Fodder means which are eaten by cattle, right? Their food is known as fodder. So all the fodder plants, they come under Poaceae. I hope these points are clear. Right, now see the formula. It has bract, it has rather two bracts. Now see the whole structure, the whole floret is protected by lemma and palea. We have seen that, right? Now around the whole inflorescence, this floret, around the whole floret is present a dry and scaly bract. Now this dry and scaly bract is known as glume. Glume is a special term used for dry and scaly bract. Is it clear? How many are there? Two, one above and the one below. So bract is there. It shows zygomorphic symmetry, bisexual flowers, two perianth, two tepals basically, and again told you it is not well developed. That is why it is known as lodicule. Now androecium, it can be 3 or it can be 6. So if there are 6, they are again in two worlds, 3 plus 3 and 3, right? While the ovary, this gynoecium is superior and it shows monocarpellary condition. Last not the least, guys, now this family is not really mentioned in your syllabus, NTA syllabus, but it is given in NCRT, so we can just go through it once. So Solanaceae is known as the potato family. The vegetative characters are mostly herbs, shrubs, rarely small trees. The stem is herbaceous, rarely woody, and there is some hairy there are hairy structures present on the stem, so we call it hairy. Is that clear? Or it is glabrous. Glabrous means it is shiny, so it can be either way. Now, leaves are alternate, they are simple, or they can be pinnately compound. Again, this is a dicot family, so it will have reticulate venation. Now, the flowers are solitary or axillary, or they are cymose. The ornamental plants found, there are ornamental plants also found here. So, there are certain plants which are eaten by us, so edible, and while others have medicinal values. So, just see dry jasmine, night jasmine, all these are Solanaceae. Then tomato, potato, both are Solanaceae. Then in medicinal uses, we use Atropa belladonna, then Ashwagandha, Solanum nigrum, Mako. The example is also given in the living world, and others like tobacco. These all plants come under Solanaceae. And finally, let's see their floral formula first. Actinomorphic, now we know if this symbol is given, how to conclude, right? There are certain things. So bisexual, gamocephalous condition, gamopetalous condition, androecium 5, and they are joined to, they are attached to the petals. So epipetalous condition, and then superior ovary, 2 in number, bicarpellary and fused because of the bract. Now what you can't see from the floral formula is the estivation. For that we need a floral diagram. So if you watch this carefully, you see the sepals are joined margin to margin, but they are fused. So valvate condition and also gamocephalous. Similarly, for petals, valvate condition, valvate estivation, and again fused, so gamopetalous. So guys, with this, all the 6 families and majorly the 5 families that have been given in your syllabus are done. So make sure, if nothing else, I'm trying to make things easy for you. Just remember this one page in which we have summarized all the floral formulae. So if you remember all these floral formulae, you are still good to go. But if you can go through the whole and revise, remember just the superficial features. So you'll be all thorough with it. You'll be all ready for NEET 2026. Thank you so much and stay tuned and don't forget to like, subscribe and share.